Only thing I would do over, to be totally honest with you, is when me and Juelz fell out, not handled the situation the way I handled the situation. You know, we don't need to talk about what we fell out over or whatever, but I stopped speaking to him. He stopped speaking to me for a minute. And then that's kind of where him and Jim's relationship flourished, which I'm not mad at that neither. But Juelz used to be with me. Tobe introduced me to Juelz. Juelz was with me in Ohio. Juelz was with me in Chicago. Juelz was with me in Jersey. Juelz was with me all the time. And then when me and him kind of fell out for a couple months, he started being with Jim. And like I said, that ain't no problem neither, but our relationship never got back to where it was at before we stopped speaking. So if anything I had to do over, that I would do over, I wouldn't have handled the situation with Juelz of just not speaking to him. I would have rather had a conversation and see if we could work things out.
Hold up. Cameron just admitted the one move that really broke Dipset for good. This is one of those hip-hop stories that hits different when you actually listen closely to what's being said, because now Cam is finally owning up to something fans have been debating for years. And listen, it's not really about beef. It's not even about money on the surface. This is about a decision that shifted everything behind the scenes. We're talking about his fallout with Juelz Santana, a relationship that helped build Dipset into a full-blown hip-hop empire. Touring together, studio sessions, real brotherhood energy. And according to Cam himself, that bond didn't break from one big blow-up. It broke because of the silence. In this clip, he admits to the one thing he would change, and trust me, it's deeper than people expected. He said instead of cutting communication, he should have had a real conversation. That one decision opened the door for Juelz to get closer to Jim Jones, and from that point on, things were never the same again. Now, I'm about to let y'all hear this for yourselves. Before I do, please drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe. Let's get into it.
They ain't want to give no deal. I don't know where the Jim found contract is at Alan Grumlack. That's on his plug. That's a fact. So Jim was never signed to me. Hellrell, JR, they was never signed to me. Only person Juelz, so when like bad business, who are you talking about? Because I ain't really have no business with other who talking about. Who else? What you talking about? Besides these people. I'm just asking, who else? Or are you talking about?
I was just talking about people under the Diplomat label who felt that, you know, they were wrong. And I'm sure you've heard several people say that it's bad business. That's what I'm saying. Like, but not one in particular, but you've heard it.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Who?
Well, you just cleared it up. You said Jim was never signed to you. You know, the only person that was signed to you was Juelz. Or yes. JR, Hellrell, nobody was signed to you.
No, Duke neither.
So, okay.
Duke wouldn't have made Duke 4 albums. Duke was running a sweatshop out his crib selling Diplomat t-shirts, Diplomat CDs, him and Karen Civil. Shout out to Karen Civil too. Shout out to Duke. Shout out to both of them. I ain't asking for no money. Now, if Duke gave me some money out of his pocket, like, yo, good looking killer, cool. I ain't no deal with him to get none of that money that was coming out the A building. All that. With garbage bags of shirts and CDs and all type of shit. I ain't get none of that. I ain't get nothing off none of them shit. So when it's like bad business, I'm trying to figure out who you talking about. Hellrell and JR, I told them possibly, yo, I can get you a deal. Let's just wait and see how this does. They didn't want to wait. I ain't knocking. I ain't holding them up. Nah, don't wait. Don't wait. Go do your deal. They went and signed with a company called Baby Grand. I don't know how much they got, but it wasn't worth it because the sales, see, back then the sales scan mattered. When somebody's album came out, first thing everybody told what they did this first week, what they did the first week, what they did the first week. And if you didn't do good, that was bad for your second chance. And I was talking to Alan Grumlack about, you know, probably doing some solo projects there, but they signed a Baby Grand and their soundtrack came back not looking good. And then when I go back to people to be like, yo, what's up with them? They're like, nah, we good. Because they want to get the money, and I'm not knocking them. I ain't hold them up. Baby Grand it is, good luck. But it didn't work out for business with other people I was doing business with. So that's what be like, yo, Cam, jerk, this, that, that. None of y'all signing me. I like everybody, yo, go do the thing. Take the flag, make us look good. Talk about that diplomat, make us look good. only person that can say something is Juelz, and when he wanted out, I let him out. So I don't know what he talking about.
The getting the masters back, was that from under you, or they had to go to Baby Grand? Because I heard them talking about getting their masters back. Would somebody have to come to you to get their masters back?
No.
Okay.
I don't own none of their music, bro.
Okay.
Shit, I'm trying to get all my masters back. I got my masters back from Atlantic and from Warner Brothers, but you know, it's a 30-year term, so in 2 years I get my shits back from my first 2 albums, and then waiting on them Come Home With Me and Purple Haze, because 30 years, Def Jam has the right to it and Sony has the right to it. Shout out to Joey IE and Tom Moskowitz, which was at Warner Brothers when we did the deal with Asylum. They had put in a contract that where after 6-7 years I get my masters back for Killer Season and other Crown Pays and all that stuff. I got the masters on that. But no, I don't own none of these masters. No, I don't own shit.
All right, so give me something else. If you could do it, because you never like to admit when you're wrong. So now I got you here. Now I'm gonna ask you if you could do anything with Dipset. If you could have a do-over, not anything you regretted. If you could have a do-over on a certain topic or a certain business move regarding Dipset, what would it be? Just one do-over.
The only thing I would do over, to be totally honest with you, is when me and Juelz fell out, not handled the situation the way I handled the situation. You know, we don't need to talk about what we fell out over or whatever, but I stopped speaking to him. He stopped speaking to me for a minute. And then that's kind of where him and Jim's relationship flourished, which I'm not mad at that neither. But Juelz used to be with me. Tobe introduced me to Juelz. Juelz was with me in Ohio. Juelz was with me in Chicago. Juelz was with me in Jersey. Juelz was with me all the time. And then when me and him kind of fell out for a couple months, he started being with Jim. And like I said, that ain't no problem neither, but our relationship never got back to where it was at before we stopped speaking. So if anything had to do over, that I would do over, I wouldn't have handled the situation with Juelz of just not speaking to him. I would have rather had a conversation and see if we could work things out in a better way, because after that, it just never was the same anymore. So that's probably what I would do over.
Listen, one conversation can cost you millions, and you won't even realize it until it's too late. This whole Cameron and Juelz Santana situation really shows how fast things change when communication breaks down. And hold up, this was never about talent. It wasn't about who was hotter at the time either. This came down to a moment where pride got in the way of a real conversation. And if we keep it real, this happens in business every single day. Partnerships fall apart. Not because people can't win together, but nobody wants to make that call and fix things early. What really stood out to me is Cam taking accountability. No blame, no shots thrown, just him saying he should have handled it differently. Now that right there, that's growth. And let's be honest, you don't see that often in hip-hop. And here's a real business gem for y'all. Most partnerships don't fall apart because of money first. They fall apart because communication breaks down before the money even becomes an issue. That's why this situation goes beyond music. This is about leadership. This is about timing. And this is about understanding how one decision can shift your entire brand. Now let me ask y'all this. Do you think Cam and Juelz would have stayed solid if that conversation had happened earlier? And be real, did Jim Jones stepping in help things, or did it quietly change Dipset forever? Drop your thoughts down below in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.